Pew pew pew. Pew pew pew. Die, you stupid bugs. Pew pew pew. Uh-oh.
Hey, sorry to bother you, but I'm looking for my kids. They should have come this way just like a minute ago. Have you seen them?
Yeah, no, just me over here, hanging out in space.
Well, if you see them, can you tell them I was looking for them?
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm a dad too. I know how it feels when you don't know where your kids are.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I'm worried sick about them. Thank you so much.
I kind of feel a little bad now.
Hey, mister, have you seen my—
Pew pew pew. But gosh darn, I love points. Those who know me well know two things. One, I'm banned from every Build-A-Bear location in Canada. And two, I love me a good shoot-them-up game. Actually, when I first discovered MAME emulation back in college, I'd bring my school laptop to parties, like college parties. I'd set it up in some quiet corner with a couple cheap USB controllers, and I'd wait for the nerds to find me. I didn't like drink or party or anything. I just kind of sat there operating a tiny friend bait arcade until somebody approached. That's how I thought you were supposed to make friends. Like fishing, but for nerds. And the games I played most were shoot-them-up games. I barely encountered those kind of games when arcades were still around, but through emulation, I discovered this enormous world of weird, beautiful, and punishingly difficult games. And I've loved them ever since. I am not an expert. I play the same games constantly, and I've somehow learned nothing. But a video about my favorite shmups has been on my videos to make list for ages. Right beside how to dance like a dweeb and which handheld is best for toilet time. So today I have 20 must-play retro shmups to show you. This isn't a definitive ranking. It's just a dweeb talking about the games that he likes. They're not in any special order, although I did save my favorite for the last. And if I missed your favorite from the approximately 10,000 other shmups out there, tell me what it is in the comments, because I intend to make a follow-up video. Unless I forget, but that probably won't happen. That's why I got this tattoo. I should be good now. But that's enough yapping. Let's shoot something before this turns into the toilet handheld video. First up is Battle Garegga, an arcade game from 1996, and this thing is just filthy, in a good way. Everything looks smoky and rusty and industrial, like the game takes place inside an exploded junkyard. The little planes have weight, the bosses are ridiculous piles of machinery, and every explosion showers the screen in chunks of metal. It's also kind of complicated beneath the surface in terms of the mechanics, but you don't need to understand all that immediately. I certainly don't. I mostly fly around collecting shiny metals, accidentally making the game harder, and then act surprised when I fail as if there was nothing I could have done to prevent it. I frickin' love Lords of Thunder. This is a TurboGrafx CD game, and it feels like somebody turned a heavy metal poster into a video game. You are a flying knight battling through fantasy landscapes filled with dragons, demons, and unreasonable quantities of fire. Before each stage, you pick armor and buy upgrades, but the real attraction is just the whole presentation. The pixel art is fantastic, and the guitar soundtrack makes me feel heroic, even when I suck. Which is always. I may be scraping along the scenery and absorbing every projectile with my face, but the music insists that I'm the greatest warrior who ever lived. This is easily one of my favorite GBA games, Invader. It's got a lovely art style. Not just the pixel art and special effects, but also the overall aesthetic has a ton of flavor. The vibe is unique in the crowded shoot-them-up space. The mechanics are unique too, because in this one you collect coins as you kill the bad guys, and you can pause the game at any time to spend those coins on upgrades via an in-game sorta shop thing. One thing that isn't unique here though is that the game is freaking hard, man. I actually kinda wish it was an arcade game instead so that I could have infinite quarters. I can rarely make it far in this game, but I still love it. In the Hunt is unique for a shmup because instead of flying through space, you putter around underwater in an armed submarine. The pace is slower and more deliberate, but the destructive energy is strong as any other game in the genre. Torpedoes streak through the water, ships explode above you and in front of you and all around you, and the screen fills with bubbles and debris and bullets and machinery disintegrating in extremely satisfying ways. And as you can see, the pixel art is spectacular. This is probably the nicest looking game in this list, with the same detailed kinda mechanical style that would later appear in Metal Slug. When I play this, I spend almost as much time looking at the backgrounds as the action itself, which might explain why the ocean keeps killing me. This is a game that I had on my old DOS 486 PC, Tyrian 2000. It has the energy of a PC game that's made by people who keep adding features until it was way deeper than it had any right to be. There are shops, ship upgrades, sidekick weapons, secret modes, and an actual story hidden in data cubes. It's a lot for a shmup, but the shooting itself is great and satisfying, with colorful stages and enough weapon combinations to keep me coming back trying to figure out how to actually get through it. I'll spend 10 minutes comparing generators and shields and enter the next mission feeling like this time I got it, and then fly directly into death. Air Zonk on the TurboGrafx 16 apparently stars Bonk, the caveman from that other game. He puts on some cyber sunglasses and suddenly he's attacking enemies flying around with energy firing from his hands. Finally, a realistic game. Am I right? Everything here is bright and silly. You fight living garbage, machines, and giant cartoon weirdos while collecting friends who can combine with Zonk into forms. One of those friends is a cow. I don't know what else you need from me to want to play this one. It plays great, it's fun as heck, but I mostly love it because every few seconds it introduces another ridiculous thing that confuses and delights me. This is one of my favorites on this list, Ghost Pilots on the NEO-GEO. This one has seaplanes, warships, and absolutely no ghosts that I could locate. Maybe the bad guys I kill become ghosts, or maybe they're already ghosts that fly planes, or maybe I should stop questioning retro game logic. This is an old-fashioned military shmup with big aircraft, bosses, and that clean, crisp NEO-GEO look where every sprite looks lovingly handcrafted. Because it is. I like this one because it's slower than the punishing bullet hell games. It's a bit more chill. Fly upward, shoot everything, drop a bomb whenever the screen becomes stressful. It's just a handsome arcade shooter. A gentleman's shmup. Remember that Inner Space movie from the 80s where a guy in a sub gets shrunk down and is inside a body? Abadox, the Deadly Inner War on the NES is like that, but this one takes place inside an alien organism. So instead of space and planets, you get teeth and brains, intestines, just lots of guts, really. It's disgusting. I love it. The biological pixel art gives this game a nasty identity, and I like how the action switches between horizontal and downward scrolling sections as you travel deeper inside. It's also brutally difficult, especially after one mistake strips away your upgrades and sends you back to a checkpoint. If you've ever wanted to feel like a multivitamin being rejected by someone's digestive system, that's weird. Why would you have wanted that? You're gross. Giga Wing is an arcade shooter for people who think explosions need more explosions behind them. The screen is overflowing with bullets, metals, smoke, and just so many explosions. The explosion budget for this game probably exploded. Thankfully, your ship can reflect enemy fire, briefly turning all that panic back towards the creatures responsible for it. It feels fantastic when you time it correctly. I usually don't, but statistically, it has to happen occasionally. The pre-rendered backgrounds and ludicrous spectacle give Giga Wing the energy of a final battle that begins normally and then somehow continues getting more final. And now, a breather. This is my favorite really old video game. Asteroids came to arcades a few years before I was even born, and the gameplay holds up bafflingly well considering that it's just a bunch of simple glowing lines floating in a completely black void. There's almost no graphics here, nothing elaborate going on at all. It's just your triangular ship, some drifting rocks, and the cold certainty that physics will betray you. The controls are simple, but it feels amazing to this day. Piloting the ship gracefully takes real practice. I do not possess that practice. I get overconfident real quick and regret it even quicker. But every time I die, I know it's because the game is fair and it's my fault, and I only have myself to blame. Just like real life. Cyvern, the Dragon Weapons, is an arcade game where you pilot a cybernetic dragon. That's it. List over. We found the best idea. This is the one. These things soar over forests and cities and military bases or whatever, blasting machines while flapping their dragon wings. The mix of fantasy creatures and heavy machinery gives this game a cool and weird personality, and the colored pixel art is so dang good. Every stage looks great in this game. Also, you can concentrate your dragon's elemental breath by holding the shoot button, which slows you down, which can be good, but it gives me another mechanic to fail at. Still, even my worst run looks cool because I am technically a dragon. It's impossible to not look cool while you're a dragon. Come on now. This game was put on my radar by my boy, RETROID, and it has quickly become one of my favorites on the Genesis. Steel Empire is a side-scrolling shoot-them-up that is like steampunk vibes, with propeller planes and zeppelins and armored trains and enormous smoke-belching fortresses. You can choose between a faster, zippy plane or a durable, chunky zeppelin, and then fire both forward and backward, which is also pretty unique. I adore how committed it is to the setting, right down to its silent film style story scenes, which are so well done. The environmental storytelling is off the charts here. I came to this for the steampunk action, but I stayed for the retro breeze. DoDonPachi is an arcade game from Cave, which is a company that makes games that are probably the first thing that many people picture when they hear bullet hell. This game is probably their most famous. We've got military scenery, satisfying explosions, and screen after screen filled with pink and blue projectiles arranged in beautiful patterns. Somehow, it feels exciting rather than unfair. You can fire a wide shot, hold the button for a focused laser, and use bombs whenever your brain stops working. I'm terrible at maintaining score chains and finding the hidden bees, but surviving a horrible wall of bullets feels amazing. I assume. R-Type 3 on the Super Nintendo is actually the third R-Type in the series, if that wasn't clear by the name. And obviously, it has that classic R-Type atmosphere. Lonely, mechanical, and slightly gross. You drift through factories and organic tunnels, never entirely sure whether the walls are machinery, living tissue, or both. You have a force pod that can attach to either side of your ship or launch into enemies, giving the slow-moving but still tough action a tactical feel. Mostly though, I'm here for the artwork and oppressive science fiction mood. The gameplay itself is difficult and highly reliant on memorization, which I've never been good at, but with a little dip into the RetroArch cheats menu for infinite lives, the difficulty doesn't stop me from having fun. Mushihimesama, I think is how you say it, is another Cave arcade shooter that came out in 2004, much later than the other games on this list. In this one, a princess rides a giant beetle and fights ecosystems. The deserts and the forests and literal caves are filled with enormous insects and colorful bullet patterns that spread across the screen like deadly flowers. It's one of the prettiest shmups that I've played, provided that you aren't bothered by bugs or death. The different modes range from challenging to what I assume is a practical joke, but even short failed runs are fun. This one is tough for me because I keep getting distracted by the pretty visuals. In real life, I'm probably easy to dazzle and then stab in the gut. Please don't do that though. I don't wanna die. Thunder Force 4 on the Sega Genesis is a game that I didn't know about until recently, but dang, it's a good one. It feels very Genesis, if that makes sense. Yes, it does. Huge environments scrolling both horizontally and vertically, massive machines emerge from the scenery, and the parallax backgrounds make the world feel huge. Then the soundtrack starts shredding, and suddenly I'm gripping the controller like I actually care about saving the galaxy, even though I totally don't. You can switch between weapons and adjust your speed. Find the perfect speed that works for you, even though there is no correct speed for me, only different categories of collision. 1944 The Loot Master is an arcade shooter published by Capcom. It sends you through 15 stages of World War II inspired destruction, which is a lot of war for one sitting, but it's okay because it's not real. It's just a video game. I love how the backgrounds are packed with stuff. Tanks, trains, airfields, little soldiers running around, all rendered in amazing arcade pixel art that all pops with super satisfying explosions. Your plane can take a few hits, and charging your shot briefly lifts you above danger, making this sorta a little bit friendlier than it looks at first. This one is on the easier side when it comes to these kinds of games, which makes it even more pathetic when I lose quarter after quarter due to my own incompetence. There are not a lot of shooters on the Game Boy Color. Project S11, which apparently is just a code name that ended up sticking, this is a GBC exclusive, and it's impressive how much arcade shooter energy they squeezed out of that tiny machine here. This game looks great for a GBC game. The backgrounds are colorful, and the sprites are large and clear, and even the soundtrack doesn't suck. You collect and upgrade weapon types while blasting through stages that never become overwhelmingly difficult. That makes this game perfect for those moments when I want to enjoy a shmup without being brutally tortured by one. Soldier Blade is a TurboGrafx 16 shooter that wastes very little time before becoming very fun. The stages move quickly, enemies arrive in satisfying formations, and the weapon upgrades make you feel real tough real fast. The crispy pixel art and bright colors give it that PC Engine look that I could happily stare at all afternoon. And sometimes I do. It's tough but fair, so I can settle into the rhythm and briefly pretend that I'm competent. The TurboGrafx 16 has so many shooters. That's kind of what it's known for. And this is one of them. A good one. Finally, my favorite game on this list, my favorite shoot 'em up, Gunbird 2. This is a silly arcade shooter with witches and robots, magical ingredients. There's this dumb story to the game that feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, where everyone has been issued military-grade explosives and are trying to kill each other. I love how you can see the bad guys running around the map as you reach the boss fights. And each player character kind of plays different and has unique attacks and story beats and endings. So there's a lot to see if you play through it more than once. I love the art too. It's quite a looker, and it's just the perfect blend of systems. Gunbird 2 gives me everything that I want from a shmup. Mostly bullets, directly into my little body. And that's it. Those are the 20 shoot 'em ups that I think you should play. Not necessarily the best 20 ever made, although some of them are probably among the best, but 20 that I've had a great time getting repeatedly and enthusiastically murdered by. If I missed your favorite, let me know what it is in the comments, because there's a lot more shoot 'em ups out there, even ones that I haven't tried yet, and I'd love an excuse to make another one of these videos. And that brings us to the end. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't, and now go play something that fills the screen with an irresponsible number of bullets and increases your heart rate and anxiety enough that the only cure is watching another TechDweeb video.